property is
We got
60
them with
degrees.
Colleen.
Yeah,
She
they're
knows.
nice. They're nice because you get a lot of coverage. You can put your down, you can zoom in, you can do motion movement, you can do all kinds of stuff.
So,
But
what I'll say.
they,
I
you
will,
can get them with the built-in
all
microphone.
properties except when we get.
And in some states, it's illegal. Some states, it's illegal for your security cameras to record your neighbor's house.
Well, they don't show up to the public.
I don't, why would we want,
No, no.
why would we want?
I think that would be our only time.
Well,
that it would actually-
Tennis is
Everybody's got a report.
Mine grew.
That's why I called him. Hey, Alderman. He's saying. It's Alderman. You ready to?
Yeah.
I was just touching base with you because we hadn't talked today.
Unfortunately,
I
mine
know,
grew.
No, I just wanted to say, check in before the meeting. And then I texted you. I texted you, so it's good. Are we ready? I think we have it looks like we have a quorum. All right.
Alderman, they just stepped out.
Oh, they are here.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go ahead and call it in.
Right.
All right, well, good evening. It is a pleasure to call this meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen to order for the city of Natchez. I would like to ask everyone, please stand for our invocation tonight. And I'm always putting you on the spot, I know, but Devin, we need a good prayer tonight. And I'm going to ask Devin Heath with Visit Natchez, if he would, to open us in prayer.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you once again to give you thanks and to ask for your blessings on this board, on our mayor, on this community. We ask that you continue to unite us, continue to guide us as we work to do your work and bring the blessings that you want for this city to fruition. We ask that you continue to give this community strength and patience as we work through our challenges.
Yes.
And remember that we are all one in your eyes. We ask all of this in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Let us join together in our pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll ask the clerk to administer the roll call.
Alderwoman Hall,
Here.
Alderman Frazier,
Here.
Alderwoman Smith,
Here.
Alderwoman Irving,
Here.
Alderman Davis,
Here.
Alderman Maroney.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all are present and accounted for.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will now go to approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting, June 13th. Madam Clerk?
Yes, regular meeting of June 13th, 2023.
What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion? We'll call for the question. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed then to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Okay, next item would be the minutes for the special call meeting held on June 20th, 2023.
What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved. So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman.
there were just two corrections, and I've already discussed this with the city clerk and the deputy clerk.
Okay.
Pending the approval of the attorney,
Yes.
that the changes we made. 24 Beaumont Street was listed twice
Okay.
under dilapidated properties.
Yes.
And there was a vote on the original motion excluding number 14 Beaumont Street and 17 Grant Street.
Mhm.
The motion was not carried unanimously. I did vote nay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any further discussion? We will then call for the question. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. We now have public hearing. This is a public hearing on adjudicated properties on our list. I'll entertain a motion to go into a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving, seconded by Alderman Davis. Is there a discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman
I
Hall.
need to recuse myself. I do have a conflict on this, so I will recuse myself.
Okay, all right.
I've spoken with Mr. Attorney.
Okay, Alderwoman Hall is recusing herself. We will let her depart the chambers before we continue
But where's the list?
the public hearing on adjudicated properties.
Where the properties at? Where,
We
they on the,
will have
Screen.
that in just a moment.
oh, okay.
All right. The motion has to go into a public hearing. I'll call for the question.
Call.
All right, question's been called. Anyone opposed to the call? We'll proceed then to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. We're now in our public hearing. And Officer Grover, we're going to recognize you to come and address the board to make the presentation. While you're coming, I will just say to your credit, for this month, we had over 40 properties on the list. And we now have worked that list down to by over half. But Officer Grover, I believe you're going to present the properties to us tonight. We'll need you to come to the podium. All right. Now, the way we did this before, Officer Grover, before you make any presentation, the way we did this before is we're following everything by the letter, and we send out adjudication notices with proper notice. We send them certified mail. Those who have contacted the office, they have communicated with Mr. Grover. Officer Grover is working with them on some of them. Some of them are still on the list. And the way we are handling this is if there is a property owner here that wants to address the board or any member of the public regarding the adjudicated properties, we will allow you to do so at this time. Officer Grover, how many do we have on the list tonight?
16, and I need to remove 2 of those 16.
You do, okay. And you're going to remove which ones?
640 Maple Street
Okay,
and 30 Cornell Street.
all right. And for what reasons?
640, I've seen progress, and they're working on cutting that.
Okay,
And the same as 30 Cornell Street, I've seen them cut it and remove the debris from the front of it.
okay, that's good, that's good.
Excuse me,
Yes, Alderman Frazier?
do you have those properties on video that we can look at? Thank you.
I believe what we're going to do is we can go through the video real quickly, but we're not going to discuss any particular property unless that property owner is here to dispute it. If the property owner is here and wants to dispute it, we will let them have that opportunity. If a property owner is not here, then that is understood that we will proceed with the adjudication and no discussion is required. I'm looking on the list, and I mean, from what I'm seeing, everything that's on here needs to be on here.
But one of them, the very first one that he held, that's shown up there on 54, 53 Brenham Avenue, sir, that's actually been cut. And I received a call from that property owner today. He could not leave work. He works out in Louisiana, so he couldn't leave work today, but it has been cut. I don't know if you
We're
got a
talking
chance
about
to go back.
53 Brenham?
Yes, sir.
I think it needs more than a yard.
It is. It's more than a yard cut being done.
That's a burned out residence. I don't think anyone would want that next to them. That
Well, he
breeds
said-
rodents and it can also harbor individuals that we don't need to harbor.
But he's working on it, Mayor, and he said he just got to work in finance.
Unless we hear from
it's
him, he needs to come and address the board.
I will relay that message as
And,
well.
and Officer Grover, have you heard from that property owner? Okay. The proper protocol would be that he needs to make communication with our code enforcement officer. If you'll pass that along
I
to him,
will.
that would be good.
I will.
Okay. Do we have any property owners here that would like to address the board?
I know.
Okay, we don't. In that case, I think the public hearing is concluded.
No, sir, we need to go on because, that no one's here, because I know that one over on Mummett Street.
Yes,
That property owner lives in California.
yes.
So do you all have that information to contact them in California? Because that's been for a number of years.
Mr. Attorney?
All the notices, which included a letter to the resident and then a second letter to the address we had for the owner, are all in the materials that were sent out last week,
Did it go?
2 weeks ago, to all the aldermen. So everybody should have that,
To all the aldermen?
all the aldermen.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I'm just asking a question. Did the owner of that property receive a letter in California? That's my question.
I have the letters, I have copies of everything here, and I
Mhm.
can verify that, yes, a
Okay,
letter was
because
sent.
he does not live at that
Yes,
address. He has
to-
not lived there for
yeah,
several years.
This is an address in Oakland, California.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Yes, Alderman Frazier?
Before we go any further,
Yeah.
I seen, some of these notices was posted on the house, on these
Yes.
people's address.
Yes.
Okay, I noticed that, Mr. Attorney, maybe you can help me out. The letter was signed by Miss Megan here. Why was the letter not signed by the code enforcement officer?
It's a letter from the city of Natchez. You think anybody working,
No.
if it's not a ticket, Mr. Frazier, it's a notice to
But
come.
I'm just trying to get this straight, but he's the code enforcement officer. He's the only somebody who can do that, to have the legal authority to have these people to come to this meeting and protest or whatever they have to do about their property. Not Megan, she can't sign a letter for them coming.
I'm sure. Megan,
I'm just,
I'm not looking at the letters, Megan. I don't.
May I?
Yes, Madam Clerk?
Real quick, the properties that created the conflict for Alderwoman Hall were removed, so she has returned.
Okay.
To
All
me.
right, let the record show she is returned. Thank you. Please proceed.
Also, these letters, this was kind of a form letter that was created by a law firm in Jackson who provided the training for the city of Natchez on the proper, procedure on how to handle these. And according to them, it was the city clerk sending the official letter on behalf of the city to the property owners.
Can I ask a
Thank
question?
you. Thank you. Alderwoman Irving, you're recognized.
Okay, and my question is, we're asking these questions because that information had not been disseminated among the board members. The proper protocol, because when we went to the coast, there was some other information shared. And I do have that information written down.
Okay.
And I'm not coming in opposition.
Mhm.
I'm coming because communication and collaboration is important.
Yes.
And for us not to be aware, then that's why I can speak for
Okay.
myself to say that's why my questions are coming about.
Okay.
Because you don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
If I could say for the record, Mr. Troy Johnston, who is an attorney with Butler Snow, who happens to be the individual that taught the class at MML last June, was agreeable to work with us through a relationship that we have with the Mississippi Municipal League. And he met with our code enforcement officer, Richard Burke, Jackie Azell, in the mayor's office. And through a coordination through Mr. Johnston, the city clerk, Mr. Callaway, we are following exact protocol. But aldermen, alderwomen, if you have any questions about the process, please direct them to me at any time, and we'll be happy to look into any concerns you have. It would be good if you would email those to us, and then we can forward your emailed question directly to Mr. Johnston, Troy Johnston at Butler Snow, and have your question answered for you.
Okay, so I
Because
have
I'm not an expert.
I have a comment.
Yes, Alderwoman
I
Irving.
just want to say, because I had some members of the community that wanted to file a petition on certain areas.
Yeah.
And so where would they get those forms?
I'm sorry, the petitions are not required for,
They can. Now, that's
Well-
something that just came about, Mayor.
generally, when a petition is not required by us, anyone who wants to file a protest, any one person, we're going to follow that through. And that's how these
And I'm
properties end up on the list. So a petition would be overkill. Anyone who wants to file a property, call the mayor's office, call your alderman, alderwoman, or go to our city website, and there is a place there where you can submit your complaint online. and Officer Grover researches every one. Yes, Alderwoman Irving, I'd like to move on. We
would too.
we have a
And
lot
I'm
to
going
discuss
to, but
tonight.
Still, there's so many things that we haven't, and so that gives the opportunity, because
Mhm,
at the MML meeting that we just went to, petitions can be filed.
mhm.
And those people that live within 400 feet of that property can file a petition. So my question was, if that was to come to fruition, where can they obtain the forms?
Why would we need petitions when all we need is one person? Why make it that complicated?
It's been that way for a length of time, and
Well,
I'm just sharing that
We'll
because that has
discuss
come.
that at
Okay.
another time.
Okay,
Right now, I see no reason to require 20 people to file a petition when we'll act on just one phone call. And that's the way the process is
Well, Mr.
working.
Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Frazier?
I understand what you're saying, but like I say, you said about we should call you or get in touch with you, but like I say, we just get this stuff at the last minute. So that's why I question this.
I think y'all got all this information last week, 2 weeks
No,
ago.
no. I'm talking about the notice on the houses. That's what I'm talking
The
about.
houses,
I didn't see
okay.
that till, no.
What I'm referring to, the notification process is the same as it's been now for several months. And if I could, please, anything that you'd like to discuss with me, we can after the meeting. But right now, we need to move on with our meeting. We've repeated this several months. If you have a house or a property that is of concern in your ward, feel free to call and report it to the mayor's office. That's how all of these have ended up on this
I
list.
agree with you.
Or you can also email that, or you can go to the city website, and there is a place on the website where you can submit
I
it.
really agree with you, but the public need to know too.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And
Okay.
thank you, Alderman
Let's move
Frazier.
on.
All right. Well, I think a lot of the public know because we are getting a lot. And Officer Grover, I know you're working, as I said last night, 4 or 5 a day. We thank you. I believe this concludes our public hearing. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing and return to our regular meeting. Thank you. Yes. Alderman Davis.
Second.
I didn't hear you, Mr.
Oh,
Davis.
I'm so sorry. Are you here for a property that's on the list?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, we're not going to entertain a motion to adjourn. We'll allow you an opportunity to address the board. Thank you, Alderman Davis. Please come forward because we had made a last call for property owners a minute ago, and that was before you walked in. Okay. Well, did the notice say 6:30?
Yes, it does.
6:30?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I don't know how that happened. Okay, that is obviously a mistake on our part, and I do apologize. If you would like to come and address the board, and we'll need you to come to the podium. Yes. And state your name and the address of the property.
Okay.
Mr. Moses.
Charlotte Dr. Smith, and
Yeah.
the property is 701 Madison Street.
Okay, if we can pull that up.
Also, there's a sign-in sheet at the podium. If you please put your name and address for the record.
Okay. And please state your name one more time.
Charlotte Dr. Smith.
All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Dodson Smith.
Okay, we're serious about the cleaning up of the property. So we have started in the process of doing that. So I was just coming in to show up to let you guys know we are in the process of getting it done.
Okay. What are you doing exactly?
Well, they started cutting the grass and removing some of the trash that was around there. We had a tenant that was living there at the time,
Mhm.
but he's no longer there, so he's not keeping it up at the
Mhm.
moment.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
have somebody else that's in the process of doing that. But we
Yes.
also in the process of trying to get it like restored. But the
Mhm.
only thing is the sidewalk is keeping us from doing anything because the sidewalk is caved in on top of the pipes.
Mhm.
And I did come in before, years ago, to let them know about that because it is a city sidewalk about the pipe. So the people couldn't do anything because of the pipes being on the sidewalk. And that's on the side of Madison and I think it's Rankin side, the Rankin
Mhm.
Street side.
Is that indeed a city sidewalk? Do we have anyone who can confirm that
The Madison Street side,
Uh-huh.
It is.
Well, the Rankin Street
Rankin
side.
Street
It's the Rankin Street, that is, Mayor, because that's right up the street from the church on the other
Okay.
corner.
Well, obviously, we need to look into that.
Mhm.
We do. I would say, we had, and I hate to bring up ancient history, but we had a homicide there 2 years ago. And we understand that there are individuals hanging out in that area and that we've had some drug, activity in that area. Is anything underway to address that situation?
Now, that wasn't at our property. That was in the area, but not
Mhm.
at their property.
Okay,
So it wasn't at our property
all right.
at all, but it was in that area,
Mhm.
but not at that address.
Are people living in that property?
Not at the moment, no.
So it is vacant.
Yes.
All right. I'll leave that up to the pleasure of the board to
Mr. Mayor.
discuss. Alderman Frazier?
Ms. Dodson, I'm looking at this and I've been failing for me. To me, they just told the grass need cutting, you got it from the,
Yeah, just say the cleanliness, of the safety of, the community. That's all I have.
okay, but I'm just gonna say this, just for everyone in here. Really, I see the issue is, like I said, the grass is no problem, in the city, got to take care of the sidewalk. But if possible, can you do a little more cosmetic work on that?
Yeah.
Like painting and stuff like that?
We can, but that's the thing, we had already started on the inside, but the workers couldn't do anything with the pipe because the sidewalk was caved in on top of the pipe.
Okay.
So it couldn't do anything, so it came to a halt.
Okay. I have to say, I've been mayor 3 years and I've never heard about that sidewalk issue.
I've been here before.
Yeah,
Well,
that
Ms.
must be
Arsenault was-
before our
Yeah,
administration.
Ms.
That
Arsenault
was
was over
16.
then, and I
Okay.
had brought it to the attention of,
Okay.
I think it was Butch Brown at the time. And
Okay.
they supposed to have got back.
Well,
to me.
that's been
Nobody
some
never
time
did.
ago. We need to get
Mr.
this
Mayor.
resolved
Mr.
and,
Mr.
yes, Alderwoman
I
Hall.
think part of the issue also is, I think on the backside,
Mhm.
it's an unsafe structure, I think also was in the notice, not just the cutting. I think also unsafe structure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As far as the building,
Mhm.
we had already started on the inside to do the upgrade of the building, but we had to stop because of the simple fact that they couldn't do anything with the pipes when they were trying to set the bathroom part up because of the issues with the sidewalk.
Okay. I say again, Mayor Brown was mayor here several years ago and then Mayor Grinnell. The 3 years I've been mayor, we have not received a sidewalk, those
Yeah.
pipes. I wish that you had brought that to our attention earlier. We'll certainly look into that, but in the meantime, the property, needs attention,
Yeah, it do.
obviously. It does. Alderwoman Irving?
I was just gonna ask, I know Mr. Dollar is out this week. Is there any way he could come, or Mr. Mahoney? He's our city engineer, just to go out and look, and to get that attention that's needed to address that
All
issue.
right. I think we can certainly consider that. All right. Yes, Alderwoman Smith.
Since there are issues unsolved, why don't we just remove this one for 30 days, give you a chance to clean up the outside, we'll
Okay.
check on the sidewalk, and then we'll see about the unsafeness of the
Mhm.
two.
Okay.
It has to be addressed right away. The inside, I mean, honestly, I want it to be nice on the inside, but the
Yeah.
outside
But
is
yeah,
where.
you can't do anything until you get the inside done to start on the outside.
Well,
Actually,
no,
Actually, when you're
Well,
building a
that's
house,
what-
you get the outside done first and then move
Well,
inside.
the outside is
For the,
as bad at the time when we started.
yes, but for the appearance of the community, the outside does need to be addressed.
That's fine. We'll
All right.
Get that done.
Thank you, Ms. Dodson.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We are still in our public hearing.
And I guess they are.
Do we have others out there who are here for concerns of a
Yes, we got
property on our
others.
list? I would like to say, if you have anything to say, Alderman, Alderwoman, just please get recognized. Yes, yes, I'm asking now. I'm recognizing this lady. If you would, come to the podium. And there is a sign-in sheet, and then state your name and the address, and then we'll allow you to address the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Elaine Griffin. I'm part owner of the property at 612 North Lincoln Street.
Okay.
And of course, I received your request.
Ms. Griffin, hold on one second.
Sure.
We'll pull that up.
Your name again?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Elaine, and my last name is Griffin.
Thank
That's
you, Ms. Griffin.
Griffin.
Thank you.
And the address is,
612 North Lincoln Street.
all right, are we finding that on the list?
I did. It was me. Okay, and
I can handle
I
this.
still just felt more comfortable
Yes,
coming,
ma'am.
because I live out of town.
Yes.
So I did want to know, what precisely did you need to have done so that we can,
Okay.
assure that the property is safe?
If we,
Do maintain lawn maintenance. We have boarded the house up as requested. I think the concern now had something to do with whatever the unsafe structure is.
yes. I would like for someone to come to, Officer Grover, can you speak to that particular property or? This is 612. Is that?
Yes.
We removed it from this.
Okay.
Okay.
That doesn't resolve the issue.
Right.
Well, I will say this, one way to assure that you're not on the list permanently is to either renovate the property or sell it to someone who will. We don't like to, boarded up properties are not good for any city and
I
definitely
certainly
not for our neighborhoods.
Yes, and I'm
Yes.
happy to sell it. But at the same time, I've also been looking into having the property renovated.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been working along with the Historical Society
Mm-hmm.
to give us names of contractors.
Mhm.
We've received, we've talked to 3 contractors,
Yes.
one of which currently is not taking any new jobs because of an illness. I believe his name was Mr. Cantu.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hawkins as well as Mr. Edwards. And
Yes.
what we're requesting is, in addition, that they give us an estimate, but they also itemize what the cost of each
Yes.
item is.
Okay.
And right now, we haven't found one that we can agree on price. I think the lowest bid we received is $240,000
Oh, my
to
goodness.
renovate the property. And I
Goodness.
felt like for that, we could tear it down and build a completely new
That's
house.
right. And you may want to do that. Or you may want to just sell the property if it's going to cost that
Well,
much to
again, like I
renovate.
said, I'm happy to sell it.
Yes.
If anybody's interested.
You may want to market it. You may want to market it. We've had over 1,000 properties sold in Natchez, Adams County over the last 3 years.
I'm happy. So I do need, so if there are any additional
Okay.
names of contractors that you
Yes.
could share with me, I
Sure.
would be delighted
Yes.
to receive that. As well as what precisely needs to happen until we can find a contractor to help us to renovate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to share some of
Okay,
those
that'd be
contractors with you.
fantastic.
All right, Ms. Griffin, thank you. And feel
Mhm.
free to call my office. We help people with things like that all the time.
Okay, yes, I've called your office several times.
Yes.
I think Ms. Esley.
Yeah,
has been very
yes.
helpful.
Ms. Elsie.
Azel.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Do we have any other property owners that would like to address the board? Yes, sir. Please come and sign in, state your name and address, and we'll pull that up. Yes.
Mayor Gibson, other members of the Board of Aldermen, those who make up this assembly this afternoon, good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Clarence Chapman. I am the father of Byron Chapman, who is the legal owner of 2821 Roseland Drive.
Okay.
My son and his wife are here with me also today. You see this notice, I saw it on the, well, actually my youngest son saw it on the door and brought it to me. And I'd like to say that I severely apologize for the Unsightliness as far as the grass cutting and stuff at the property. It has been taken care of. I cut it this morning. I have pictures here and everything of it that I will enter and show. As an over 20-year veteran of the VA cemetery, I know how to cut grass. Okay? But as of the 13th of March of this year, after over 20 years of service at Natchez National, I was promoted. So I was moved to Zachary, Louisiana, where I'm currently a budget person.
Yes.
So having to drive over 2 hours and some each day, I leave Natchez early in the morning, a little after 6 in the morning. I don't get home till after 6 in the afternoon.
Yes.
We had several people who I had paid to come by and do some things and keep it going, but apparently it was not to the standard. Okay. And like I said, I do know what standards are and everything. I don't stand up here making any excuses for that. I take full responsibility for it. I took off from work today and I went in there early this morning and it has been rectified. It is cut and everything. The only thing that is still there is on the fence line in the back, there are some weeds and stuff on there, and that has poison ivy in it. I can't get it.
Yeah.
It'll swell me up like a bullfrog.
Yes. Okay.
Right, so it's been sprayed. I'm gonna spray it again.
All right.
I have some commercial grade weed killer
Yes.
that I will take care of it and
Okay.
everything. So on behalf of my son Byron and I, my son's there, he's the legal owner. He's band director at Vicksburg High.
Mhm.
His lovely wife is also a professor at Aldermen. So left the property to him years ago when he was in high school. Wanted to start my son off with some good credit ownership,
Yeah.
to give him a leg up.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have it when I was coming along because my folks didn't have anything to give me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to try to pay it forward. When I moved from my home out in Broadmoor, I didn't have that home. We do plan to go through it and see what he needs to do if he wants to live in it, renovate it and live in it. If not, then we will put it up on the market to be sold.
That'd be good.
Again, I apologize to the distinguished party.
Thank you.
You're good.
Right?
Thank you,
You're good,
Mr.
thanks.
Chapman. Thank you.
You have a picture.
Just for the record, why don't you show those pictures to Mr. Grover? As long as they're satisfactory to him, they are to us. And I would say it is a good time to sell property in Natchez. So if you aren't interested in, living in it, it might be a good time to sell it because people need houses here. They
If he
really
wants to
do.
live in it, it's fine, but renovate it, but if he doesn't.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
All
Chapman.
right. Thank you.
And we congratulate you on your many years of service and your promotion.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Todd, yes. If you will, sign in and then we'll need your name and address.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. How you doing? Great.
Property at hand is 12 Marlstone.
Okay. And
I received a letter.
and your name for the record.
Oh, my name is Freddie Todd.
Thank you, Mr.
I received a letter it was dated July 5th. I received it maybe the 14th of July. And I called downtown. I talked to Mr. Burke. I don't know.
Yeah.
I talked to Mr. Burke and I was just trying to get a clear understanding on what needed to be done with the property itself. And as far as if it's a tree need to be cut, I've been late getting to it this year. It's been a challenging year for just with the heat and everything.
Yeah.
And, all my equipment's been down. I've been hiring everybody except the paint. So excuse me. But I just kind of needed to know, was there anything else besides the trees?
Is it still on the
I
list?
sent Officer Grover out there to check and he had started work and said that you were going to get all cleaned up so we can.
Okay. So it's not on the
You're
list.
good.
Okay, cool. And then when I finish getting everything, I can send some pictures and y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Todd, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As we said, those who call, we do our best to work with them, and thank you. Yes, sir.
How y'all doing?
We're
today?
fine. We're
My
fine.
name is David Powell, it's a property, 822 MLK.
Okay. Mr. Powell, yes, I'm in there. Pull that up.
And what was it? We've had the grass cut. It's supposed to be cut on a monthly basis, but this guy,
Let's confirm is,
That's 20 Minor Street,
no, it's 822 MLK.
MLK.
It's not,
It's,
oh, okay.
You're good.
Mr. Grover's been working to take those off the list that you folks are addressing. So thank you for cutting that grass.
and it's gonna be renovated here. Hopefully by October, we have all our funds to get it renovated.
All
We're
right.
from Slidell.
Yes.
So we was paid the guy 3 times.
well, can I say something, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
I've been on this board 7 years and I've never seen that property overgrown. So you have taken good care of that property. This is the first that I've ever seen that. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Mhm.
So that's what we do, we're trying to get it.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you for working with us.
All right.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a Great day, okay?
You too. Thank you. Safe travels. Do we have anyone else who wants to address the board? Yes? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we return to the regular meeting and end the.
And adjourn the public.
Adjourn the public.
All right, motion made to adjourn the public hearing by Alderwoman Smith.
Second.
Seconded, it was seconded by Alderwoman Hall, actually. Any opposed to the motion? Well, we'll call for the question. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. We are back in our regular session. Officer Grover, thank you so much. Obviously, you're working with them as best you can. We will now see what is the pleasure of the board.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman,
We typically have a motion that's typed out. Do we have that? It's
do
pretty long.
we have our motion for the adjudication process? It's
The
right here.
resolution, yeah.
It's a resolution. The properties you've seen, which properties are we suggesting that we take off before we make the motion?
Mr. Mayor, it was
Yes.
Madison, and I think, was it Roseland, or was that one already off? I think
Um,
it
It's
was
already
off.
It was already
There was
off.
one other one.
701 Madison and 30 Pernell Hill.
And there was one on
640
Roselawn.
Maple.
Yeah, 2821.
2821 Roselawn is supposed to be taken off. It has been taken care of.
Only for, till the next.
Those are the 4 that were marked off.
Okay.
For the
So the
next
4
30.
that we are marking off actually, let's see, are 701 Madison Street,
701.
640 Maple Street,
Mhm.
30 Purnell Street, and 2821 Roselawn. So with that said, the resolution is the standard resolution. Do we need to read the resolution?
Somebody could move to waive the resolution. They
Um,
want to, but why don't you read it? Mayor?
We'll read
We'll
it.
have the proper.
Resolution adjudicating nuisance properties in the city of Natchez. Whereas the charter of the city of Natchez, Mississippi provides powers to the mayor and board of aldermen generally to ensure property is clean and maintained and to ensure the health, safety, and welfare. And whereas the mayor and board of aldermen, as authorized by state law and by section 4281B of the Natchez City Code, following the provision of the notice required by section 21-1911 of the Mississippi Code of 1972 as amended, held a public hearing on July 25th, 2023, 6:30 p.m. at 115 South Pearl Street, Natchez, Mississippi, in the council chamber building to determine if the property herein described is in such a state of uncleanliness as to be a menace to public health, safety, and welfare of the community. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and board of aldermen and regular council convened that pursuant to the aforesaid section 21-1911, Mississippi Code of 1972 as amended, the condition of the following properties was considered at a duly noticed public meeting. The Mayor and Board of Aldermen determined that at least one of the following conditions exists on the properties: grass and weeds over 12 inches in height, failure to maintain exterior of building, vehicles parked beyond 72 hours, dangerous structures, offensive accumulation, screening unsightly items. Pursuant to the report of the investigating code enforcement officer, the conditions on the property are in violation of Section 301.3 and Section 302.4 of the 2009 International Property Maintenance Code, adopted by reference in Section 5.9.2 of the Development Code of the City of Natchez, Mississippi. 53 Brenham Avenue, dangerous structure. 1315 Garden Street, dangerous structure, grass and weeds. 9 Government Fleet Road, dangerous structure, grass and weeds. 107B Jackson Street, dangerous structure, grass and weeds. 301 Madison Street, dangerous structure, that's dangerous structure. 504 Madison Street, grass and weeds. 20 Minor Street, grass and weeds. 119 Monmouth Street, grass and weeds. 501 North Pearl Street, grass and weeds. 229 Oakland Drive, grass and weeds, offensive accumulation. 2816 Roselawn Drive, grass and weeds. 500 West Sears Lane, grass and weeds. That public interest and necessity requiring same, this resolution shall become effective upon passage. What is the pleasure of the
So
board?
moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman Irving?
could I get a copy of that resolution so that way we can?
Certainly.
Alright.
Certainly.
And I also just want to ask for the record, I didn't see an email because I have had problems with my phone, my city phone. I called today. It's been down several days. I wasn't able to get text messages, emails, call ceasefire, and they were able to reset it for me. So I have not had use of my city phone. So if it was email, but I do want to ask, could I get a physical copy of those properties?
Oh, certainly.
Thank you.
Certainly. All right, at this time, I will call the question.
Call.
Question's been called. Anyone opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion, and we will have a voice, roll call vote. Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier. Alderwoman Smith.
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving.
Aye.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
And Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Ayes have it. We also need one other motion, and that is to accept the documents given to the clerk for the minutes.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made by Alderwoman Smith,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion on the motion. Call for the question.
Called.
Question's been called. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Officer Grover, thank you. The next item we have is under city business. I see appropriation.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, I understand that the city will be receiving appropriations from the state of Mississippi relative to House Bill 603, 2023. And I want to make sure some of those allocations are going to curb and drainage in West Sears Lane on what we've been discussing for the last 2 years, the section entering West Sears Lane to the intersection of West Sears Lane and McIntyre.
All right. All right. I know that early on you had received an estimate from the engineer, Hayden Kaiser's here, JKS, and that was for a phase one, which is the area you just described. And I know that area, it was our intent in lobbying for funds from the Mississippi legislature that they allowed funding for that area as well as funding for a portion of the Concord drainage.
Which is
project.
the first phase as well, man.
And
It was the first phase as well.
and then other areas of town. Alderwoman Hall, I think it's appropriate. You have brought up a very good point. because we'll be getting this appropriation from the state very soon. I think it would be a very good idea that you ask the engineer who has worked these estimates to go ahead and produce revised estimates, being that it has been 2 years. Could we have those estimates just to start off with for phase one of the West Sears Lane project
Absolutely.
and also phase one of the Concord Drainage Project?
I would like to
And
say
do that
something.
all in one motion?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Smith.
I will put that in a motion.
The motion, yes, I'm listening.
That the allocations that we are receiving from the state of Mississippi, House Bill 603, 2023, be allocated, portions of those allocations or those appropriations be allocated for phase one of Concord Drainage Project and for the West Deers Lane project.
Okay. All right. And that motion has now been moved and seconded by Alderman Frazier. I want to say also we need to do our research because I believe, and we can bring this at the next meeting, but there are some other areas of our city that we will be able to address as well. But we'll do this in just a couple bites at a time. Alderwoman Irving, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. It was to my understanding that that money was earmarked for those two projects. So those two projects only, and that's how those accounts would be. Am I correct, Megan?
Actually, one of them is,
Because
and this is under my report, we actually received about 4:30 today, the memorandum of understanding on these funds from the state. 500,000 was designated strictly for Concord Avenue Drainage Project. The other 500,000 was for various, City of Natchez various drainage projects.
And we discussed projects in West Deers Lane area, Roselawn area, and there was also a project.
there were several. I mean, we got a
there was
list.
one also in Ward 3, and that's why I say we'll look into that, and we'll take this a couple bites at a time. So for now, we will be focused on these two, and then next meeting we'll come back with the others.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alderwoman Hall, for bringing that forward. Look forward to getting that done. Alderwoman Irving, thank you for your persistence as well. And
well,
it's good that Mr. Hayden Kaiser's here tonight. He has worked on both of these, I know, already.
And I just want
Yes.
to say, Mr. Mayor, I did speak with our city clerk just last week. She and I had the discussion that it was going to be within the next couple of weeks. We should be receiving that allocation.
Okay.
And so, thank you, Megan.
This is good news for Natchez, really good news. I'll entertain now a call for the question.
Call.
Question's been called. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Johnston. All right, let's get ready. Someone said they think I might have embarrassed Mr. Johnston last night. State of the city. But I had to just give him a shout out because he's managing over 30 projects. And I think his report tonight includes quite a number of those. So buckle up and get ready. All right, Mr. Johnston, you're recognized.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. You received a draft of our report in your packet today. There are a couple of changes on the view screen, and they'll be noted in red. Natchez Police Department renovations, 2022 capital improvements bond issue. Bids for the reference project were received this past week at 2:00 p.m. in the clerk's office. I forgot to put a date there, sorry. A summary of the bids received are as follows, and you see them from Wilmar and from Smith Painting. They're broken down by your base bid, add alternate 1, add alternate 2, add alternate 3 in your total. You see what each of those consist of as well. Funds allocated for this project total $113,800. Of course, that is a deduction for fees and the required asbestos testing, which allows the manager to accept the base bid and add alternate from Smith Painting based on the funds available. Pleasure of the board.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I move we go with the base bid that Mr. Johnston is recommending.
Second.
All right, motion has been made by Alderwoman Smith and seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
I'm looking at this and I'm kind of like, we're spending this money on this, the renovation of this, for the police department. And I've said it before and I will say it again. We are spending taxpayer money on a building and that's already in terrible shape. To me, we're wasting the taxpayer money. Add alternate 2, I'm totally against that too. Because like I say, this building was a telephone company. They made it a jail a long time ago, which was the city of Natchez was in a hurry to get a jail in the city of Natchez. We're spending this kind of money that we're spending. I think we could have took this money and gave the policeman himself a raise. But we're spending this kind of money just to do it in this building in a matter of years. This whole building gonna be falling down. And I just can't see we're spending this kind of money on cosmetic work. And plus, one time we had a discussion about moving dispatch back over there. Like I say, this is totally unacceptable for me. I don't know about the rest of the board, but not me. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Frazier. Further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Mr. Mayor.
Alderwoman Irving.
I just want to ask, this is for capital improvement, so it's from capital improvement fund? Bond issue, okay. And then the other thing that I want to ask, and I want to allude to what Alderman Frazier just stated in reference to the building. I wanted to say, if there's been discussion at E911, and it seems like we're wanting to pull out and relocate our dispatchers, then who are those parties that's having the discussion? And the reason why I'm saying that, because there was an article in the Natchez Democrat on June 19th, and it was in reference to, but that's why we're addressing this. We're trying to upgrade the building so that we can relocate our workers.
That's no longer part of this plan. Yeah, we're, the bond had a list that we go by building per building, and that is the amount dedicated to the police department. This is a proposal. It does not have anything to do with 911 because we need to resume those talks soon. I addressed that in my speech last night. But this does not at this time involve any discussions of 911.
Well, let me ask this. When you have those conversations, can we all be a part of that? Because it says we're having them now, according to the music.
We actually aren't right now, but I know the aldermen will all be involved when we get to that process.
Okay.
Because ultimately, the Board of Aldermen, along with the mayor, will have that final decision to make. But right now, let's stay to the motion at hand. Any further discussion?
Call for the question.
The question's been called. Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, I'm going to call for a roll call on that. Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier.
Nay.
Alderwoman Smith.
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving.
Nay.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Yes.
Just I want to say
Alderwoman
one
Smith.
quick thing. Logic says we have to maintain our buildings. When we don't, this is what we end up with. We need to do it regularly.
Yes.
Maintaining that police department. We don't have another building for the police department, so it's very
Yes.
important.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Alderman Frazier.
I understand what Ms. Sarah Carr Smith talking about, but I was the jail administrator in that building. I ran that building. I know what we are wasting. And I said, and I'm gonna keep on saying, we are wasting taxpayers' money on that building. And I know you talk about upkeep, but we done spent too much money on this building already. So, like I say, the board can sit there, they sit there and vote, but I want to ask Ms. Smith, Alderman Hall, I know Alderman Davis been out there, Alderman Rowan, have you ever been in that building?
I've been through every, I've been in numerous times.
Do it look like it's supposed to be a jail?
Mr. Mayor,
All right. I have to agree with Alderwoman Hall. This discussion is now out of order because we have had the vote on the motion. Mr. Johnson, you're recognized. Next item.
Next item, thank you, Mayor. Lighting of the Mississippi River Bridge, environmental coordination, permitting, and plan development. Money from House Bill 1353 at the 2022 legislative session. Staff is requesting a motion to enter into a contract with Volker Inc. for the environmental coordination, federal highway MDOT permitting, and plan development for the lighting system on each of the sides, north and south or outer, of the Mississippi River Bridge at Natchez, Vidalia, subject to the review and approval of the city attorney. The light shall be mounted on the existing outer mounting brackets of each bridge and shall illuminate the exterior of each bridge truss only. Not to exceed, see this work totals $153,185.
All right. We can call this design phase 1, and we are excited about this. We received this appropriation from the legislature last year, and we've been looking at all sorts of plans and proposals over the last few months, and we have determined that this is definitely the best and most cost-effective way to go. And I want to prepare the public. I said last night at the speech, it's not going to be as bright as Butch had it, but it's going to be a soft and elegant glow, and it's also going to be environmentally friendly. We are working with individuals now who are experts on bird migration, and we are looking at what other communities have done with their bridges during migration seasons. And there are various strategies and timing issues and limiting time that the bridges are lit during those seasons, and we're very sensitive to those issues. So I just wanted to say that for the record. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
I have a question.
I need to entertain a motion. Alderwoman Smith has made the motion. Second?
Second.
Alderman Davis has seconded the motion. Discussion.
Yes.
Alderman Frazier.
The lighting of this Mississippi River Bridge, I thought that at one time, was this a joint project between the state of Mississippi and Louisiana? I see what you say, the Mississippi legislature. So is this project back on? I thought at one time it was off.
We actually have researched all that. It's a good question. And this project originally was completed in 2010 when former Mayor Butch Brown was executive director of MDOT, Mississippi Department of Transportation, and it was done wholly with MDOT funds. The state of Louisiana did not contribute to the project at that time. However, we do have an agreement in place where the city of Vidalia has pledged to cover the energy cost and Natchez cover the maintenance cost. And Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is still committed to helping raise funds on the Louisiana side, but that commitment has yet to be given. But now that we still, we have this money in hand, we are still committed to following through. And so this is our phase 1 of following through.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Alderman Frazier.
That's the reason why I asked this question, because I know sometimes you came before the board and it came before everybody say that it was really on hold. And I didn't know anything about this. It was back on. So that's why I asked.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Well, the Mississippi legislature and the governor signed it last year, and we are very grateful for the $500,000 appropriation for this phase 1. The question's been called. Is anyone opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next project.
Angeletti House, 2024 Community Heritage Preservation Grant Program, Mississippi Department of Archives and History. MDAH recently announced and released the guidelines for the above referenced program. In summary, applicants can be state agencies, local governments, 501c3 organizations, etc. As in past funding rounds, the minimum match required is 20%, but additional points are given for providing more than the minimum match required. There is no maximum or minimum amount that can be applied for, though there are limited funds available, and Archives and History will attempt to spread funds geographically around the entire state. Certified local governments, or CLG, communities can use grant money to apply for projects other than courthouses or schools, but the building must be a Mississippi landmark property. Natchez is a CLG community. Again, for a property to be considered eligible, the building must be a listed Mississippi landmark property. Funds are historically reimbursed upon project completion, but during past projects, reimbursements have been submitted on a recurring basis. Applications are due on or before the end of September. All preservation work must adhere to the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. The execution and recording of a 25-year preservation and maintenance covenant is again required to ensure the maintenance and preservation of the building. Noting this document is recorded at the courthouse. Past projects sponsored by the city have included the preservation of the Auburn Kitchen Dependency, the Auburn Water Intrusion Mitigation Project, City Hall roofing replacement, and the ongoing depot renovation on the bluff.
So moved.
I have an abstinence.
So moved.
We'll mark that for you, Alderwoman Irving. Finish your comments.
Staff would like the board to consider applying for funds to restore the Angeletti House. Though I've seen so many spellings of it, I've got to get the right one
Yeah, that one's
down
not
pat. It must be landmark property that's constructed in 1845 and located at 186 Catherine Street. This historic structure is in bad condition and in need of preservation. Next step, staff is working with the local architect, Whitecroft and Associates, to develop a detailed scope of work and cost estimate. But to proceed with the development of this application, the mayor and board will need to pass a motion authorizing the preparation and submission of the application, pass a motion to allow the mayor to sign all documents agreed upon, and pass a motion pledging the cash match, and to read and understand the statement of understanding form that we have done with all past applications. I do want to point out that I freehanded right here, if awarded, applications will be announced probably in January, mandatory workshop in February, then signing a contract with an architect, development of plans, then review and approval by Archives and History and Preservation Commission, and probably advertise in late summer, early fall of next year.
Awesome.
All right.
So moved.
Second.
Alderwoman Irving has made the motion. Alderwoman Hall has seconded that motion. And I'm excited about this. I know we really wanted to do this last year, and we were really hoping to submit 2 applications, one for the depot, one for this. And they said, no, you're going to only be able to submit one if you're going to have any chance at it. So thank you for all the work. We've had a number of meetings recently, and I want to thank people for reaching out to help us with various grant ideas. One of them here tonight. Thank you, Debbie Hudson, Germany. I know you've had a lot of input on this, and even just as a gift to the city, had meetings with Mimi Miller and discussions about this project, and advised us on best steps after looking at other grants. I also want to thank others in the community. We are going to
Mr. Mayor.
hope that we get this, but we've got to make a decision right now. Before I entertain y'all, we've got to also, the motion's been made, but we've got to determine a percentage amount.
No,
This is
that's premature.
Yeah.
It is premature? Okay.
Mhm.
Alderwoman Irving and then Alderwoman Hall.
Okay. I just want to say this is good news. I'm excited about this, but I also want to thank the inspection department, Mr. Rudder, for putting a tarp. The building has a tarp on it, and that's really good news to encouraging, to prevent the ruins from continuing to happen to that building. So I'm excited about that. That's truly good news. And that's what I was about to say.
Okay. Alderwoman Hall.
I'll wait for our discussion section. We can vote. That's the problem.
Okay. All right. Anyone want to call for the question?
Call.
Well, then, anyone opposed to the call? We'll then proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
I did what,
Yes.
what I want to say is
Alderman Hall.
that it is important that if received, that the 25-year preservation and maintenance covenant be abided by, because we will not be able to touch this building without going through Archives and History for any kind of repair work.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. 'cause
Thank
that was
you.
a question I had as well.
Next item.
Natchez City Auditorium, request for quote bid package number 1, 2022 Convention Center Complex bond issue. Staff is requesting a motion to approve an access agreement between the owners of Choctaw and the city of Natchez to grant the city and our contractors access to a portion of the property identified as parcel number 41-111B-29.2 to allow needed heavy equipment to transport materials and supplies onto the roof and to allow the roofing system to be repaired.
What's the pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion on the motion. We'll call for the question.
Hall.
We'll proceed now to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item, Mr. Johnson.
Receipt of bids, one new four-wheel drive loader, National Public Works Department. Bids were received in the clerk's office until 10 a.m. on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. A summary of the bids is attached for you. It is the recommendation of the Public Works Superintendent that the city accept the bid price offered by Stribling Equipment Company of $242.90, along with the 5-year buyback price of $120,000. Net cost to city of $122.90, which the city would like to exercise unless an auction company offers a more or a better price. Discussing options, I'd like to defer to Ms. McKenzie.
Yes, I spoke with Justin Dollar about this, and we did budget this piece of equipment as well as the dump truck that it's my understanding we'll be discussing hopefully in a couple of weeks. And financing that for the 5 years. I did kind of do some rough calculations based at 7% interest. And right now, you know, until we get those quotes back from lenders, we won't know for sure. But we're looking at about $53,000 a year. And again, this was budgeted.
So you need a motion.
Thank
So
you.
moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion.
I just want to say it's
Yes.
time. We're in dire need of both of those pieces of equipment. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I will call for the question.
Hall.
Any opposed to the call? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item, Mr. Johnson.
Turtle Lane Drainage Improvement Project in the EQ Mississippi Municipality and County Water Infrastructure Grant Program. Staff, Mr. Dollar and myself are requesting a motion to advertise for a general contractor for the above referenced drainage improvement project.
What's the pleasure?
Second.
Alderman Davis has made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion? Well, this is, we're so glad to be proceeding with this. We'll call for the question. The question's been called. Any opposed to the question? We will then go to, proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Construction of 2 new tennis courts at Duncan Park, 2021 recreation bond issue. That is requesting a motion to retroactively approve a letter sent to A&M Engineering to allow Stubbs MK Contractors LLC to proceed with the following activities: to order and install TP40 poly-coated, powder-coated fencing and posts in place of the fencing and the specifications, to allow Stubbs MK Contractors LLC to install the post-tension slab utilizing the needed subcontractors as requested, which include total foundation to perform the post-tension work, foundation builders to perform the laser screed and finished slab work, and Stubbs MK, the general contractor, will perform the form work, digging of footings, rock-based work, and furnish and place the concrete.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Alderwoman Hall's made the
Second.
motion, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman.
I think as Mr. Johnson noted here, we have had discussions on this with both the engineer and the contractor, along with Mr. Attorney.
Okay, thank you. We'll call for the question.
Hall.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. Next item.
Request for qualifications for qualified environmental professional, QEP. The city's FY23 EPA Brownfield Cleanup Grant. The city of Natchez received proposals for a QEP in the clerk's office until 10 a.m. on Thursday, July 20th. One proposal was received, surprisingly only one, and it was from PPM Consultants. Staff is requesting a motion to enter into a professional service agreement with PPM Consultants, subject to the review and approval by the city attorney to provide the required professional environmental services for this cleanup grant.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion? We'll then call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Duncan Park Golf Pro Shop renovation, 2021 rec GOP, and 2022 capital improvements GOP. Staff is requesting a motion to rebid this project, noting the following items will be removed from the base bid and listed as ad alternates. I can read them if you like, but they are listed in your report and on screen.
All right. Alderwoman Smith has made the motion. Alderwoman Hall second the motion. Discussion. Yeah.
This is for golf.
The golf clubhouse.
Shop. Okay.
Yes. We actually had to, sadly, we had to choose not to decline or reject the bids. One bid that had come in last month. We're rebidding, and we understand that there are other contractors now interested in bidding, and that is a good thing. All right. Call for the question. Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. You may notice I'm going to stop asking if there's anyone opposed to the call.
Thank you.
If you're opposed to the call, just say you're opposed. If I don't hear it, I'm moving straight on to the vote.
Thank you.
We've been doing that enough, and so here we are. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Overlay of select city streets, 2022 road general obligation bond issue. Staff is requesting a motion to execute a contract with JKS Engineers to provide inspection services for the street overlay project. The cost of the services totals $41,040 or $380 per day for an average 8-hour workday for an estimated contract period of 108 working days. Of note, working days is based on MDOT's Green Book for the average number of days, average number of working days in each month for the state of Mississippi. This period covers from mid-August to the end of April. Should the contractor complete the overlay early, the proposed fee for services will be reduced accordingly.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Alderwoman Hall has made the motion. Alderman Davis second, and I'm excited to be making progress. And Mr. Hayden Kaiser, we discussed this last week. Thank you. He is fully aware that it may not be 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. It may not be as long as this says. And so while the price is quoted here, I'm expecting that it will be less when the project is ultimately completed.
The contractor hopes to finish, within
Yeah.
several months, but we'd rather give the work,
Of
worst
course.
case scenario.
That's right. That's right. And praying for good weather. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving?
I did. So you're saying, and you brought this up last night, so I'm asking the question. We have 45 streets. This is what we're referring to. And so we're starting next month. And what were the dates you said? August to what, April?
Mid-August until end of April is what has been discussed for this overlay project, though our contractor seems to feel like he can do it in a much more condensed time frame.
And because my concern with that, just hearing you say that is, we know that the hot weather is best for what? To lay asphalt, right?
Well, hot weather will not impact the overlay of streets. Cold weather would, because, if it's, I think, below 55 or lower, they are not able to put down asphalt.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't think the hot weather really has any bearing on them.
No, I'm saying that's when I thought that's when we were trying to do it, was during the hotter months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So from August to April, I just see we're gonna
Now, we
just
would-
shut
and
down.
Keep in mind, we do say working days, so there may be some days in there that they may be able to work. And also, this contractor that we're working with has their own asphalt plant.
Thank you, because that was my next
Yeah,
comment.
They're
Okay.
not locating it here, they're locating it in Hazelhurst. They
Okay.
will transport the asphalt as needed for the work.
And that was what I was gonna ask next. Okay.
And they're not at the mercy of anybody, they have their own portable plant.
Okay. Thank you.
We actually were using April as a worst case scenario, but we now are feeling very confident that this project will wrap up a lot sooner than expected.
Call for the question.
All right, the question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
That's it.
All right, Mr. Johnson, I tell you, that was about a third of your list right there. Thank you. We will now proceed to the next item on the agenda. And Mr. Porter, you've got a report? Mr. Ryan Porter, our interim director of Parks and Recreation.
I promise you I won't take that much time. This is basically just a follow-up of our discussion 2 weeks ago. The controller upgrade that I recommended at the cost of $3,942.91 was actually approved by the Board of Supervisors. Blankenstein's actually came in with a quote today of $2,975, which is $967 lower. So I guess I'm just asking for you guys to approve that so I can take it to the county and we can get this rolling. Next item.
What was the amount?
All right, before we go to the next item, I'll entertain a motion. And
Second.
And the motion was made by,
Mr.
it
Maroney.
was so fast. He seconded. Who made the motion? Alderman Maroney made the motion.
And Alderman Davis.
And Alderman Davis seconded. A lot of action down there at the end of the table. All right. I would like to restate, this is the pool reopened
Correct.
Today. And Mr. Porter, you're to be commended for working so hard over the last 2 weeks to make this happen. And it was a shame that backup supplies or backup equipment was not on hand to avoid this lengthy delay. And what you're putting in motion now is to avoid that from happening in the future. Is that correct?
That's partially correct.
Okay, explain further so we know exactly
Next
what.
week, or 2 weeks from now, I will approach you with the figures for the backup assembly unit, which
Okay.
will be a plug and play pump in case the pump malfunctions.
Okay.
This is the chemical controller unit that I was talking about that tells the system basically when to turn on and when to turn off.
Okay.
To make sure that chemicals are added.
All right.
At the appropriate time.
And so this is a step forward in providing better technology
Absolutely.
to keep things working and to keep things safe. Okay.
Wi-Fi compatible.
All right. All right. And for the minutes'
No,
sake,
he's not finishing.
and for the minutes' sake, I would like for you to restate exactly the description of the item being purchased.
This is the Hayward control system, the HCC Cat 4000 Wi-Fi. It's remotely controlled and monitored with real-time diagnostics to your cell phone or to your desktop or laptop. It automatically records hourly chemical logs to reduce liability. It's a plug-and-play compatibility feature with our current system. It includes the 2 test probes that we have to replace either way.
And that's all fancy talk for a pump monitor and a chemical monitor.
It does a little bit more than that.
I know, but layman terms. Further discussion? Further discussion, I'll call for the question.
Second.
Okay. The question's been called. We will proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, Mr.
And
Porter.
the next for the specialized chlorine briquettes that we can't get here locally. The particular system, the pulsar system that we use, depends on a certain consistency with the chlor-tab is what they call it. To ensure that it breaks down at the proper rate, it's basically a housed unit that holds the chlorine, up to 5 pounds of chlorine briquettes. Water's fed into it and it slowly dissolves. And the chemical controller is what tells it to pump that solution into the main pump system.
All right. All right.
Long story short, we can't get the product that we need here locally. So we're having to go with Ewing Pool and Spa out of Alexandria. They will not deliver it unless we get at least a pallet. And the supervisors have already agreed to split the cost of $4,344. And I am aware that they do have some funds or some monies available in the pool revenue account that has been untouched this season. So it shouldn't cost either the city or the county any money out of any budget line items.
So moved.
All right. Alderman Hall made the motion, seconded by Alderman Smith. Discussion. We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Ms. Porter, thank you. To be commended getting the pool up and running again so quickly. We
Mayor,
will, yes.
Before you go on, could I recognize him as well, Mr. Porter? I just
Yes.
wanted, Mr. Porter, I would like to thank you for removing the mulch out of the garden over there. Thank you so very much. And it looks very nice spread it throughout the park. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. We now have our city officials reports. Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was a very good turnout at Congressman Thompson's, open house last Friday, July 21st. Alderman Frazier and I were there from the city, and I think you attended a little bit later. But, we're grateful that we had him here to share some of the allocations that he will be providing to the city of Natchez. So it's a very well turnout for that. And, pickleball and tennis are going very strong. We have had, as you all know, the groundbreaking for the 2 new tennis courts, and take an opportunity to go through Duncan Park. The ball fields are really, really taking shape, thanks to Mr. Porter and his staff, and also to our baseball consultant. I want to thank him for that as well. Pickleball is really picking up. I think as of yesterday, just yesterday, there were 29 players out there playing pickleball. And we're looking for more youth and tennis, youth/tennis leagues in the fall for both pickleball and tennis. So we're very happy with our recreation department coming along in that department. I also want to thank the Natchez Housing Authority for sending us their minutes for the last meeting last month. Mr. Porter's already touched on some of the other items at the pool, so thank you very much for that. And also on August the 10th at 10 a.m., we will have the ribbon cutting for the youth center at North Natchez Park, and the public is invited for that as well.
That's
This has been a long
August
time
3rd.
coming, and I want to reassure everyone or reiterate that this building is on the list to become a Mississippi landmark.
I believe that is August 3rd. It's Thursday, August 3rd at 10 a.m. Is that correct?
I thought it was changed to the 10th.
Let's see. Be sure.
It was the first.
The 3rd, I'm
It's
sorry,
the
the 3rd.
3rd, okay.
I received that incorrectly,
All right.
the 3rd. August the 3rd, 10 a.m. Ribbon cutting for the restored youth center at North Natchez Park.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Frazier,
Yes.
you're recognized.
First, Mr. Mayor, I would like to say, I also attended the State of the Union, or the State of the City address. I also, as it says, some of the stuff that was said, you know, I'm the type of person like that. I don't agree with everything, but I really didn't appreciate being called out about tearing down the youth center. I really didn't like that. But, you know, everybody got their own opinion, but that to me, that was like, that shouldn't have been said. But everything else, like I say, it was right on time. We had quite a few people there, and everyone was in attendance. But like I say, as you said and everything, we still got a long ways to go and a lot of more things to do. But to me, I am, and I would say this to anybody in here and everybody in here, I'm committed to working with this board on everything. But like I say, I don't go along with everything. That's just me. That's the right person I am. So I'm just, that being said. Now, let me say this too. I attended Congressman Thompson. They opened up his new office in Natchez on a highway out there by the old trade school. It used to be trade school to me. He had a great turnout. He had a lot of people there. Senator Butler, the mayor, who, of course, he came later on. But he also made an announcement that the New Beginning Baptist Church had an erosion problem, which bumped up to Maryland Heights subdivision. He also made an announcement that they had a $300,000 grant that was gonna be, not a grant, he just said it was $300,000 for that project to be done. So in the future, they're gonna be doing some construction work on the New Beginning church project back doing it with erosion problem, and also it's back up to Maryland Heights. Like I say, Congressman Thompson, like I say, he's the type of person that anyone can talk to and you can listen to. And as I said, the city, the county, and we are fortunate that we have somebody like that who's gonna represent this district, Southwest Mississippi. Southwest Mississippi, to me, have been neglected for a long time. And when I say we do have somebody now who represents us, we always had people represented, but I think that Congressman Thompson, he's gonna do a very excellent job. So with that being said, Mr. Mayor, like I said, I appreciate everything that you said in your State of the Union address. But like I say, that was my only thing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
I want to say I appreciate your being there. I didn't name any names. I'm sorry if that was implied. There were quite a number of people in the community saying it needed to be torn down. I did not name any names.
Well,
I'm
I
sorry
said your
you took it
apology,
that
Mr.
way.
Mayor.
We didn't say your
Thank
name.
you, Alderman.
Where everybody
And Alderman Frazier,
yeah, but
thank you
everybody
for
know
your,
what
I do now.
Alderman Frazier,
Exactly.
thank you
They
for
do
your,
now, they know they been.
thank you for your kind words.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for being there tonight. It was great to look out and see all of our aldermen and alderwomen there, and so many.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor,
you.
let me say this before we
Yes,
move
sir.
on with it. And I'm gonna say this, and I say it again, I'm keep on saying it. I am committed to working with this board. I'm committed to doing everything. It's not about me. It's about this. It's about the chair. This is not my chair. This is the people of Natchez chair. That's who I represent.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm committed, and I'm not. See, some people say, "Well, he's a little radical," but that's not me. I'm gonna speak my mind, and that's what I was elected to sit here and speak my mind.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
And we look forward to seeing you at that ribbon cutting.
Oh,
It's
I'll
gonna
be there.
a good day for Natchez.
I'll be there.
It is.
Thank you, sir.
Alderwoman Smith.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Alderwoman Irving.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I also attended the ribbon cutting for the new office of Congressman Benny Thompson. I came late, Mayor, after you, but I was able to get there to speak with the congressman and several of the other members of the community. I was able to go in and do the tour of the building to see the actual office and where it's located. And I am too grateful that we have someone from the congressional delegation that has an office here in the city of Natchez. It's the first that I'm aware of. I know Congressman Greg Hopper had an office, over at the county, but he would meet. I don't know, I wouldn't say an official office because I've actually personally met him there. So he would come down on a Wednesday, and I think it was once a month that I met him there. And so he would too meet with the constituents of the city of Natchez there, but now we have a local office. And that's what I want to say, which is truly a good thing. Yeah. The other thing I want to mention that I also received an invitation from the Natchez Adams School District, inviting everyone here and the public out to the ribbon cutting ceremony of the new school. And that's going to be July 31st at 9 a.m. And so asking everyone to please come out and share in that occasion of the ribbon cutting of our new high school. Also, Macedonia Baptist Church, located at 33 Minor Street, will have a mobile food drive from the Mississippi Food Network Distribution Center. And that mobile food drive will be Friday, July 28, 2023 at 9 a.m. Okay. Also, you will be lining up from Brenham Avenue to come up Minor Street to pick up those boxes of food that will be distributed. I wanted to ask Mr. Mayor, in our last board meeting, just wanted to get an update. Have our city planner, Ms. Legault, Mr. Devin Heat, and other stakeholders, have they had the meeting? That we had made a vote that they would come back and have a meeting
The
in
mayor's
reference
not
to.
involved in that discussion.
Well, so then I wanted to just get an update. Ms. Hall, are you aware? Because you were leading the meeting at that time. Are you
We're not
aware?
discussing that in front of Mr. Mayor and Ms.
I just asked for a meeting, whether or not it's been a
We're not
meeting.
discussing that. They recused themselves from that discussion. Thank you.
When would the public know? Because that's what I've gotten several calls in reference to it. And so the public needs to know if there's been a meeting or will be a meeting in the very near future. I don't see, and I understand that they had to recuse themselves, but I'm not asking anything in reference or detailed in reference to it. I'm asking whether or not a meeting has taken place. That's my only question that I'm asking, and wanted to see whether or not that has, because it's important that we go back and we act on the action that takes place in our meetings. And that's my reason for asking that. And that's all that I have for my report, Mayor. And I have to say, on last night, I want to congratulate you, Mayor.
Thank you.
A great job for the state of the Union State of the City address.
Yes.
You did a great job. Everyone was recognized. It was well accepted and talked about. So thank you.
Alderwoman, thank you. And,
Mhm.
and I appreciate your being there. And I am going to say this, I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Oh, let me announce that.
I know. I was waiting for you to announce that.
Oh, okay. So on Friday, July 29th, our 33rd annual Montevideo Jubilee will take place. 33 years, the oldest African-American event in the city of Natchez. And it's really special, you all. This year, we will begin with our Freedom March starting at 9:30 a.m. And I'm asking everyone in our community, please come out and enjoy that occasion with us. From there, we go to Macedonia Baptist Church, 10 a.m. We will start our Amos Pope Gospel Hour. Also, any other candidates, this is a platform that can be used. If you want to address the members of the community, you can come to our church. That's been a tradition that has gone on for the last 33 years. So I'm inviting each and every one of you that are out campaigning for your position or running for a position. You're welcome to come. They have the opportunity to speak 2 to 3 minutes in the church. Also, once we finish our gospel hour, we will go to the lot at 50 Minor Street. Our mayor will do our welcome and do our opening for the blessing of the activities on the field that evening. And then we'll proceed with all the other activities that we have. And I can also share a flyer if you need to. And that ends my report. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much. Alderman Davis.
No report, Mayor.
All right. And Alderman Maroney.
No report.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman.
Part of my report was also to thank you for your remarks last night, as well as Alderwoman Smith. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've done a lot.
We've all done a lot, haven't we? It was a great moment. Thank you so much, Alderwoman Hall. Thank you, all of you. I said it last night and I say it again. We may not always agree, but who does?
Right.
But we always come forward with a solid majority every vote when we're moving this Natchez renewal in our city forward. I thank each and every one of you for your friendship. We now will acknowledge the city clerk for her report.
I did have some corrections and additions to my report, which I put on your desk, before the meeting started. So my first request is request for approval of the 2nd July 2023 claims docket.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
First of all, I just wanted to say, please make sure that we notate in the minutes that I did not vote. I vote on everything in the claims docket with the exception of the fire department. Yes.
Thank you.
Want to begin with that.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let's see. Page 11, And I just want to ask, it's important that we do our business as best we possibly can with our own local stores here,
Mhm.
with resources that we need or supplies that we need. And I'm just gonna ask that we take a look, it's on page 11. We're getting possibly janitorial supplies from Jackson Paper Company. I've asked that before, but I just want to ask, could we possibly do local to receive those?
I can make that request for that department head, but again, you know, we have several different places in which we order, and if it's a huge savings to the city, then, you know, sometimes we do go outside of the city to make purchases.
Okay.
But I would agree, and I've said since I became mayor, it's always our goal to shop local.
Absolutely. And if we're encouraging our constituents to stay local and shop, then we should be doing the same thing ourselves.
And we can always give local merchants a chance to meet that price.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other page is page 28, and I just want to ask, Shift South, do we have the constituent name that's moved? Because I thought we were beyond that program.
No, there were some remaining funds. It was not nearly what it was in the past, but for this fiscal year, which was budgeted.
Okay.
And I do not have that individual's name.
Okay, all right.
But I do understand that there was some delay. You have to produce certain documents.
Right.
And all of the boxes have to be checked legally and it verified that you have purchased the real estate required. And it's my understanding that applicant has qualified based on all of those criteria.
Okay, so then my next question, so is this and I just want to ask for clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a mutual agreement with the county and the city?
It's not. The county was asked to participate, but they declined, but the city did participate. And this has been a partnership between the city and Natchez Inc. Natchez Inc. has promoted it. It has been widely, talked about, received, and it's been very positive. But I will say we're coming possibly to, the end of this. It was to attract remote workers.
Mhm.
And at its height, it went viral across the world. We had over 1 billion exposures. It was great. But we now, see that it is coming possibly to its end. And I would suggest we might want to consider a similar strategy in the future to attract medical talent to Natchez. I'm just throwing that out there. Not going to discuss it now because it's not the time we're discussing the claims docket. But those are all good points, and I hope we've answered your question.
Thank you, Mayor. Page 47. And that's Hensley Construction. I just want to see, where is that? Where is that?
I'm sorry, you said page 47?
Yes, ma'am. Page 47. Where is this construction located?
I can't answer every project that Mr. Dollar has going on across the city, but he has had a number of patch and overlay and striping and different projects going on all over.
He wasn't there today for me to ask him.
Yeah, he's actually on vacation.
Right.
The invoices are in the clerk's office, and I actually looked at those invoices today, and I saw nothing that was unusual.
No, I'm just asking where was it located,
Mhm.
the dollar amount. Okay.
They have been, like the clerk says, working all over the city. Okay.
Okay, and that ends my question.
All right. Thank you. The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is request for approval of the 2nd July 2023 mini claims docket.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Alderwoman Irving?
Okay, claim number 20113. I don't want to call a name, okay, but I just
Yes.
wanted to ask.
There
do
was
have
a
some-
delay in getting a final inventory and accountability for the final payment going to that vendor. So that's why you're just now seeing that. But this was actually less than what was previously discussed the final payment would be when that contract terminated.
Well, I do have to say this now, there was a payment on our last claims docket to that same vendor, just this last time. And I-
That was probably his last
It was a
invoice
different-
that was sent.
It was a
Okay.
different amount.
Yeah.
It
so
was
that
a different amount,
yeah.
but I've seen it
Contract.
twice
That
and I'm
was
like,
his,
okay.
the
Yeah.
last normal invoice. This is a final payment for inventory that he left for us.
Okay, all right.
All right. All right, the question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is request for approval of the interfund transfers.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Well, we just getting him.
A motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Motion made by Alderman Davis and seconded by Alderwoman Hall. We'll have discussion.
Well, I'll
Yes.
ask Altamir, we just getting them. I mean,
Yes.
coming in here today,
Yeah,
they're just,
If you'll notice, all of these transfers just took place this afternoon as part of payroll.
oh,
And this is all budgeted.
Mhm. We'll give a moment for everyone to look over it. Ask any questions you may have. Okay, any questions?
call for the questions.
The question has been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is a request for approval of the interfund loan repayments.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Smith, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion.
Call for the questions.
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Next item is a request to spread upon the minutes a letter received from BNA Bank. Just stating that the Convention Center Hotel TIF bond has been paid in full as of June 1st, 2023.
So moved.
That's great. Motion made by Alderman Davis and seconded by Alderwoman Smith. And that is exciting. It really is great progress for the city of Natchez. Discussion?
I just wanted to ask,
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
and I could be wrong, so I'm just asking a question. It seems as if when it was brought to our attention earlier that it was 1.7 million. So am I in error saying that amount? 1.7.
The final payment was 1.7? No,
Okay.
no.
I thought the balloon payment was that amount.
No, I believe you're thinking of the Convention Center bond, not the Convention Center Hotel TIF. Two different bonds.
Which one is this in?
That
Megan?
is the Convention Center Hotel TIF.
Okay.
So that was when the Grand was built, and I think at that time it was like a country inn and suites, but, okay.
We're excited about that.
Yeah, that is good news. I just was asking because I
yes.
wanted clarity.
Sure.
Because I know we were saying about the balloon payment that had to be paid, and it's due this year, right? And I thought that was what this was.
Actually, there's two more payments left on the original Convention Center bond. But when the bond that you all just did for the Convention Center complex renovations, there was a pre-refunding portion of that. So
Mhm.
that money is in place to make those payments.
Yes.
So we don't have to find it within the city's coffers and budget to pay those payments. It's
Yes,
there.
thank you.
Okay.
The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Okay, next item is a request for approval of the MOU and authorization for the mayor to execute all necessary documentation for the receipt of funds in the amount of $500,000 from the state of Mississippi for the Concord Avenue Drainage Improvement Project, which was approved through House Bill 603, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Alderwoman Irving made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item.
Okay, next item is approval for the mayor and city clerk to open a new and separate bank account for the Concord Drainage Project Funds by way of resolution.
So moved.
Alderwoman Irving made the motion. Alderman Davis seconded that motion. Any discussion?
Call for question.
Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
And just a quick
The ayes
clarification.
have it, motion carries. Yes.
Quick clarification. I know we've worked really hard to close a lot of bank accounts. And so asking for these, it's required by the state that these be held in a separate bank account. So,
Okay,
um,
thank you.
Okay, next item is request for approval of the MOU and authorization for the mayor to execute all necessary documentation for the receipt of funds in the amount of $500,000 from the state of Mississippi for the city's various drainage projects, which was also approved through House Bill 603.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion?
No.
All the questions.
I have to say this, just for the record, that was one trip that we made to the Capitol with our lobbyists, meeting with various state officials. That was one trip, $1 million. And that says everything that needs to be said about our state officials and their support of Natchez and the work our lobbyist does.
Yes, it does.
We made one trip. $1 million. The question's been called. We'll now proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Okay, next item is approval for the mayor and city clerk to open a new and separate bank account for the various drainage projects funds by way of resolution.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion?
No, I just want to say I'm excited because we all have drainage issues
Yeah.
throughout the city of Natchez. So
Yeah.
we're approaching that and I'm excited about that.
This is a start on our
Absolutely.
new Natchez drainage project. Question's been called.
Excellent.
We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Uh,
Next item.
Next item is a request for approval of the resolution authorizing maintenance of Watkins Street Cemetery.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion has been made by Alderman Frazier, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
there are only 2 people who are licensed in Natchez to treat crepe myrtles commercially.
Yes.
Only 2
Yes.
people.
Yes.
And those people are John Taylor and Greg Booking.
Yes. Okay.
We need to make sure we get someone licensed to take care of these crepe myrtles in the cemetery.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
it's my understanding that Mr. Sago did a pretty good job of dealing with Craig, those crepe myrtles.
Right. And Mr. Mayor, I was just gonna
Okay.
say too, just to add to that.
Alderwoman Irving?
Thank you. I just want to, those 2 people may, and I know Mr. Brookin is, I do know that because I work with that organization out there at Duncan Park, treating those trees. But I do want to say that not only Mr. Sago, you have Ms. Colleen Wilkins as well, who can treat those crepe myrtles because that's how I became a part of that organization, with being involved with it. But I do want to say that Mr. Sago actually had treated some in the Pacific area for us. So we want to keep everybody on board.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you. Yes, Alderwoman Smith?
May I clarify, we're talking about the repairs in Watkins?
Yes.
Okay, so, in the city's paying for that.
Yes.
So we last time got prices because I think we did it in-house for a lot less. I can't remember exactly, I wish
No.
Justin was here.
I think we did it for 8,000 and it was Mr. Sago.
That wasn't at Watkins Street Cemetery. That
Oh,
was
at
around the
Watkins.
city.
Yeah, that was around the
It's my
city.
understanding we did this exact same project, same price or thereabouts.
Just
a
make
year
sure
ago.
Justin gets the pricing,
At the-
if we need to do anything
Watkins
with that,
Street.
that we have prices.
Um, well,
There were
it-
significant differences.
Yes. Well, we can certainly get those prices, but we do have a motion before us right now. And we will still have discussion on that motion.
One quick thing,
But
the
yes,
certification
Alderwoman.
comes into play with telling how to put the stuff together. I mean, there's different
Yes.
items that are put together to treat them. So I mean, I definitely want that information, but they don't do the work.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say this too,
Yes,
because
Alderwoman Irving.
Sego shared that he did have the training, had taken some classes, and he did have the training to treat those trees as well. He shared that information with the
Yes.
board as well.
Yes.
Mhm. Thank you.
I do know that he was featured in
Mhm.
a magazine article put out by Mississippi State
Mhm.
through the Mississippi State Extension
Mhm.
Service.
Mhm.
And yes, Jason Jones and Mr. Jason Jones and Mr. Sago also,
Mhm.
they worked together on that project. So,
Right.
so I don't want to question his expertise.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as licensing certifications, certainly we can, look into those. But right now, a motion is before us. Any further discussion on that motion?
Call the question.
The question's been called. Any opposed? We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion? Alderwoman, I have to do a roll call according to the resolution, being that this is a resolution allowing this needed maintenance to occur. Alderwoman Hall?
Aye.
Alderman Frazier?
Aye.
Alderwoman Smith?
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving?
Aye.
Alderman Davis? Alderman Roney?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Yes, Alderwoman
I
Smith?
did note, and I forgot to say something. We did do a resolution earlier that we didn't do that roll call on. Does it matter? I mean, I don't know if we need to redo it or,
What's that?
I think it was number 8, wasn't it, that we didn't do a roll call? It's a resolution.
A resolution opening a bank account?
I mean, I don't know.
Do we need a roll call on
On
that?
all resolutions or just some?
I want it on this one because there seemed to be some
Okay.
questions.
I would,
Okay. That's
I
We're just
would-
opening bank accounts.
I would say opening bank accounts, I saw that as a unanimous vote because it was a non-controversial item. Thank you, Alderwoman. Next item.
Okay, my final item is a request for approval of a resolution authorizing an increase of garbage collection fees due to a CPI increase that has been made by the vendor.
Okay, now, I believe we understand that the cost of the city is going up. Are you wanting to pass that cost on to the household?
That's correct. So it would be an increase, the current rate of $22.17 per household per month, and the increase would be to $24.15 per household per month.
Okay.
I have a question.
Well, before we entertain that, I would need to entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion made by Alderwoman Irving,
Second.
seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Yes, Alderwoman Irving?
Is that on sewage and,
Strictly garbage collection.
strictly
And
garbage?
right now, in that amount, the city did assess a $1 mosquito control that's
Right.
part of that.
Mhm.
So $1 would go to mosquito control, and $23.15 actually would be paid for garbage collection.
Right,
But
okay.
it's, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Call for the question.
Okay, the question's been called. We'll,
Before we go,
yes, Alderman Frazier.
this, so just letting the public know that this is already built into our previous contract, right?
That's correct.
Because
It is written that at the, like, I guess, May of each year, they assess a CPI based on the May CPI figures. So we received notice of this, takes effect actually June. Bill will reflect this increase from the vendor. So this is putting in place where the city would increase the rate paid by the citizens on their water bill to pay for those services. And it would take effect on August 1st for those billing purposes to be able to get this information to Natchez Water Works and get it entered into the system.
yes, I just want to just simply say that because we don't want anybody to say, well, we just sitting up there raising the garbage bill and stuff. That I just want the public to know this was in the previous contract that was ratified by us in order for garbage and control and stuff. So this is something that had to be done because of the cost of living and the rising cost of doing business. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Frazier. The question's been called. We'll have a vote. Alderwoman Hall,
Aye.
Alderman Frazier,
Aye.
Alderwoman Smith,
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving.
Aye.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. I will just say this for the record. We are looking at some alternatives moving forward. We have a few months before we really get close. This contract comes up May of next year. I don't want us to be caught off guard at the last minute looking at alternatives. Not to say we won't stay with Arrow. They do a good job, but there are alternatives that we have to look into because we want the best arrangement possible and the best service possible for our citizens. Thank you. Madam Clerk, does that conclude your report?
That does, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Attorney, do you have a report? Well, I must say, though, you've been getting a lot of work on our desk, and we appreciate what you're doing. I have no report. I gave mine last night. However, we still have some items we have to take care of. But yeah, if you didn't hear that report and you've got an extra couple hours, just pull it up on the city's Facebook page. But it wasn't that long, but it was a great evening. Thank you to all who came out. We do have on the agenda tonight a discussion of the depot renovation project. I did announce last night that we're getting very close working with the architect to being able to bid the construction renovation of the southern half. That would include the large reception area for tourists and visitors, public restrooms in the center, and a viewing room for the Natchez, a newly created Natchez film that hopefully will be in production by later this year and for viewing next year on the southern end. We don't have that ready to bid tonight, but we did feel it important to discuss the steps that this board will want to take with regard to the north end. It has been discussed, various, ideas, but it seems that there's been a preponderance of feeling that an RFP process legally needs to be followed to make sure we follow a fair process.
Absolutely.
I do know that, the restaurant fell through, as we all know, and the only other proposal was a proposal by the group, Mr. Warren Ruther, Mr. Tipson's here on behalf of the convention center. They wanted to have that considered for the northern half. But obviously that was under an administration several years ago. We don't have to make a decision on an RFP process now, or if you want, we can make a motion to proceed with the preparing of an RFP. Okay.
Second.
All right, Alderwoman Hall has made the motion to proceed with the preparations of an RFP that will apply only to the north end of the depot. It's been seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion?
Call the question.
Okay, the question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. We'll look forward to the RFP process and look forward to the proposals we receive. We hope to have that prepared very soon. It's my understanding that we can go generally by the one that was prepared previously, with a few alterations being that it only applies to the northern half. We also have a grant proposal with Debbie Hudson Germany is here. It is my understanding, though, that the proposal may include some items we need to discuss in executive session, being that it may pertain to a contract. We may need to go into a closed determination before we have that discussion. We don't want to do anything out of line, and that was brought to my attention earlier before the meeting. So we will report back after we have a closed determination. We do have some other contract discussions we need to take care of tonight. Again, that may be something we'll have a closed determination in a moment for executive session. And I also understand we have a personnel matter that needs to be discussed. So I'm just making those announcements right now. The resolution has been taken care of for Watkins Street Cemetery. Thank you. The Takeoff North America Conference is being held in Atlantic City, New Jersey, next month. I have been meeting with our airport director, Mr. Richard Nelson, and our airport consultant, Mr. Jeremiah Gerald. It is our understanding that we have between 6 and 8 meetings with various airlines to take place at that conference. I'm going up just for the bare minimum days needed to make those meetings and come back.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Alderman Davis made the motion. Alderwoman Irving seconded that motion. Discussion. Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Also, workforce development has become such a major focus, and I would like to be there just to show Natchez presence. I'm not able to go. It starts on Monday, but we have meetings here Monday, Tuesday, including a Tuesday board meeting that evening. I will leave immediately after the board meeting that evening, maybe earlier. There may be a point in the meeting I can hand the gavel over to the Mayor Pro Tem, and I will be there for Wednesday and Thursday. Very important meetings during those days.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Irving. Discussion?
So, Mr. Mayor, I just have a
Yes.
question. What were your dates in all? Is it here?
And
The
so, yes.
Okay, 22nd.
That would be actually the 22nd. That's the evening of that Tuesday to Thursday, the 24th.
Okay.
Okay. Tawana Williams has already gained approval to go. I'll be there with her. I'll call for the question.
Call.
All right. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion passes. I would say it's always good to be at these conferences. It is. And any of you who have a special issue, a special area, you want to go, just let us know at the next meeting.
I'm just excited about hearing airplane and airline so that we could possibly hear. That's exciting news.
Well, I will tell you exactly what I told the consultant, though, when we had our meeting yesterday. This was a phone meeting. I said, I really don't want to keep on going and spending money until I'm assured we're going to bring something back. I said, we've been meeting with these airlines. And he said, yes, the economy's been tough. You know, airlines, it's been tough. I said, well, I'm going to go. We're this far in, and I don't want to not go. I said, but I want your assurance that you're going to do everything you can on your end to make sure we have successful meetings. So be praying for good meetings.
Can I say something?
Yes, Mr. Maroney.
Just kind of along those lines, I just want to add, I've got a place out in North Adams County out in the country, out near the airport. And, ever since that flight school and just, there has been a lot of activity at the airport. I mean, we notice a tremendous amount of just buzzing around out there all the time. It's a noticeable increase in local airplane traffic.
Great.
And that has nothing to do with airlines, but with our airport. It is successful.
It is.
Out there.
Well, you're bringing people here who know what they're spending. They're doing all those kinds of things.
I think a lot of it is student pilots because they seem to just be flying around. They don't
and
seem
also,
to be going anywhere.
And also investors and celebrities flying in.
Oh.
It's amazing who they see at the airport. And we'll be having ribbon cuttings out there soon, as we said last night in the State of the City. I don't have any miscellaneous updates. I gave all those last night. At this time, I would like to entertain a motion to go into a closed determination for the purposes of discussing contracts and personnel matters. We will then make a report. We're going to ask that Mr. Hash remain so that we can make that report on the closed determination when we come back in. And at that time, if it is determined we need an executive session, we'll go back and we'll have the executive session, and then we will make that report just online using Facebook Live as we did at the last meeting. No reason to have Mr. Hash, Lee, and Alex stay here for the entire executive session. All right, the motion, we voted on that motion? We need to vote on it. I tell you what, I'm on fumes tonight. All in favor? All right, motion passes. We'll be back in a few minutes to make a report. And it's so good to see Devin here, and so good to see Helen. We're back. We're back. I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn the closed determination and return to regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Any opposed to that motion? Hearing none, motion passes. I'm going to ask the attorney to give a report of our closed determination meeting.
Board of Aldermen met for a closed determination. There is one personnel matter regarding performance and other matters, personnel that need to be disclosed or discussed in an executive session would be appropriate. There are some other matters that were brought to the board's attention, but they are matters that would be best discussed in open meetings.
Okay. And so we're going to take care of those items that need to be discussed in the open meeting now. I'm glad we're still online. And the first one was on the agenda. Ms. Deborah Germany, also known as Debbie Hudson Germany, well known to us, has quite a background in grants. She not only in the past was the president CEO of the Adams County Natchez Adams Chamber of Commerce, but she always was a grant writer in a prior position with Southwest Mississippi Planning and Development, and she also had grant writing experience with the Mississippi's Workforce Board under the Mississippi Development Authority and the Mississippi Department of Employment Security. She has been wanting to serve the city in a valuable capacity. She brought forth some ideas regarding grants pertaining to the Angeletti House. And then, as we know earlier in the meeting, we decided that, and partly because of her input, that it was a really good time and that even though there are other grants out there, it was probably best that we pursue the Archives and History grant. Well, that led into other discussions. And everyone knows that James Johnston, who writes grants for the city, is currently managing now, I've said it enough, over 30 projects. He is so busy. And also behind the scenes working is Richard Burke, my executive assistant. And I don't call him out enough in public, but I'm going to say it right now. Everything that I reported on, and I don't want to tear up when I say this because I love this guy. I couldn't do the job without him. Every single thing I reported on last night, he was at the heart of it. There's not a single thing that we're doing that he's not at the heart of. And so while Richard is helping in grants and is in so many meetings pertaining to grants, we need someone who will go hunting for grants. We need to have someone hired for a fishing expedition. And so that's what this is about. Debbie Germany has offered us a phase 1 research grants proposal for the city of Natchez that would allow her to research grant opportunities for the city. And these grants would be in the following areas and not limited to police, fire, public safety, recreation, animal control, community gardens, cultural enrichment, etc. We know that there are historic grant funds available, and we don't want to miss out on our share. The cost for this phase 1 project will be $3,500. At the end of this phase 1, she will deliver a list of recommended prospective grants, potential recommendations on how to move forward with a phase 2. So I would entertain a motion to enter this contract with Ms. Debbie Hudson Germany.
I'd like to make that motion.
Well,
Or second it.
all right. Alderwoman Hall has made the motion and Alderman Maroney is seconding that motion. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
How many grant writers do we have on staff at the city?
Well, we have, as I just said, Mr. Johnston, and then Mr. Burke, who is my executive assistant. He does assist, but researching grants, writing grants is quite a task. We saw this recently when we went outside to hire a grant writer for the Delta Regional Grant that brought us $450,000. So, yeah, so that's the answer.
That's my thing was I was just trying to find out how many do we have.
Yes.
Like I say, you just gave me a few, I believe, but I do know that we had a grant writer for the police department, and but I understand how much we paid her. This is a little cheaper when I look at it.
It is.
But I'm not, like I say, with Ms. Hudson, I her expertise is right on point, because like I said, I know she had a job that she was dealing with a whole lot of money, dealing with a whole lot of grant. So I just want to know how many grant, but I don't have any issues with her or anything.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderwoman.
Thank you. I don't have a problem with Ms. Germany. And what I want to ask was, would she be a part of, we are part of NLC, National League of Cities.
Yes.
And SAMS.gov have lots of grants too. So would that be one of the job descriptions that she would be able to, because there is you have to log in and you have to have access to it. And it's no fee at this point. So would she have that?
Yes. Mr. Johnston and Mr. Burke have already agreed to assist her in any ways they can in making sure her research is complete and thorough.
Okay.
And that's a very good suggestion.
Thank you. I mean, because they have lots of grants there, and
Yes,
some
they
don't
do.
even need a match. We
Yeah.
just need the personnel to be there to get them done.
That's right.
Yes, thank you.
And I want to remind everyone, we shouldn't be afraid of grants that require a match, because we are doing so much with funds that we have committed to these projects, and we are already in the position to match funds because of the monies we currently have budgeted for projects over the next year.
Question.
Okay, the question's been called. We will then proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. The next item, everyone knows that we are making changes in our Department of Communications. And we have a vacancy in that department. And so we are filling that vacancy by not hiring another full-time employee, but rather by contracting. Bruce Video has been providing services to the city for many years. In fact, going all the way back to Mayor Philip West. And we are so grateful to Lee Hash, who is here. Alex, we're so grateful for the work you've already been doing. They have provided us a proposal that will allow them to provide the live feeds in our regular board meetings, regular city meetings, and also live feeds in the special events such as the State of the City. Not many of those each year. For some of the smaller events, we actually can just FaceTime those, on city phones. And also there's other talent in our community. And now he's showing off. He's showing what he can do. And oh, that's what I really look like. Golly. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. I forgot I was wearing a blue tie. It's been a long day. I usually wear a red one. What I'm going to say is this. He has provided us a proposal that will give us a 1-year contract, but we actually are suggesting a 2-year contract. And that 2-year contract would be at a discounted rate of $150 per hour and a minimum of $300 per meeting. And that includes setup, takedown. That's why we're not going to make him sit around for our executive session time.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I make the motion we proceed with the 2-year proposal.
Second.
All right. Motion made by Alderwoman Smith. And I'm going to recognize Alderman Maroney, because he agreed to chair this task force that has successfully completed a very fast solution. So thank you, Alderman Maroney. I'm going to recognize Alderwoman Irving for the third. Okay. Any discussion? Any discussion? We'll then proceed. And look at the quality we're getting. Isn't that great? Everyone on the front row is they are in perfect attention to our meeting. Look at that. Yes, Alderman Frazier.
You're affiliated with Bruce, still affiliated with Bruce Video, right? That was your granddad? I don't think you had the expertise that your granddad did. He was good. I just wanted to say he served the city for years, not just doing videos, but also as a police officer for many, many years. I've been knowing him ever since I was a little young guy. So thank you and thank you, Bruce Video.
You do great quality work, Lee.
You really
And
do.
Alex, thank you all.
Thank
Just share that with him too.
The question has been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. The last one is a contract, a proposal for a contract. This is a retainer contract. Imaginary Company, I know it's a funny name, but it is a real company actually, owned by Vidal Blankenstein, who is from Natchez, a native of Natchez. She began serving the city of Natchez on a retainer, a monthly retainer during the administration of Darrell Donnell. She is the person who has designed over the years our city seal, the banners, all of the ads that you see, all of the e-blast, and anything, that goes out advertising the city. She now is proposing to take on so many other things that were under the scope of our communications department. It will actually finish out, along with Mr. Hash, all the duties needed in our communications department, with the exception of some. There are two things I want to mention. From time to time, utilizing talent when we're wanting to do more on social media, utilizing social media influencers or individuals who are real experts in really drilling down and making the most of a city's social media presence. And that can always be by contract or hourly or just proposals for services from time to time. Occasionally, when Mr. Hash can't perform the duties because it's not a regular meeting, we'll do the best with our city phones, but there may be some times we'll bring in some local talent. It won't be much, but if we needed to produce some special videos for the city, that kind of thing. I will say this, not to be confused. She has been assisting in directing a lot of the content, with our former director of communications for our website. And she, will continue that. But one thing that she's been doing, just kind of pro bono lately, I don't think the city realized, but Mr. Peralt knows, we're working on now a revision of the city's website, and that is not included in this contract because that's totally a separate animal. And I believe she will be available. That will be something yet to be determined. Alderman Maroney, you're chairing a small committee looking at the website revision. So I don't want anyone to think website revision is part of this contract. This is strictly the overall ongoing communications piece. And she is proposing to do this on a retainer of $3,000 a month for services. Now that doesn't include out-of-pocket media vendor costs, sometimes paying the cost to boost videos, to boost advertisements. And we're going to be doing a lot of ad placements soon for our Med Natchez campaign, a digital marketing campaign. At the end, this includes the talent, creating those ads. But obviously, the city still has to pay for the cost. This has always been the case. When we place ads in the local media, when we boost ads, when we do things on the radio, boosting on social media. I think that pretty much
I have a
sums it
question.
up.
I have a
Yes,
question.
Alderwoman Irving?
So is this $3,000 a month additional monies based separate from what she does on a month-to-month basis?
No, this is a new arrangement.
Okay,
This is
all
a
right,
new
so
arrangement.
$3,000 a month, okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
What was she getting?
Okay, the motion's been made, Alderwoman Hall, and thank you, Alderwoman Hall. We do need a motion. Alderwoman Smith has seconded the motion. Alderman Frazier, you
I'm
recognize?
just asking, what was she getting the money?
Well,
$549.
yes, and it amounted to about 6,000 a year on the base retainer, but this is the thing. She did so many other unusual things and things that were requested of her that she billed sometimes for those separately.
Separate.
I think the city's coming out, not maybe just the same, but maybe even a little better. Vidal, if you're listening, I hope you didn't hear that. Anyway. But we've discussed it. She knows it, but she loves Natchez, and we are so grateful for her passion. The question's been called. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Now we will entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters pertaining to our Department of Recreation. Do I have a motion? Alderwoman Hall has made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Any opposed to that motion? The motion carries. We're going to now go into our executive session. This will end the live feed. We will give a report on our Facebook live after the meeting.
Sorry.